Okay, so I will just share my screen. Okay, is the screen visible?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so yeah, so here I am continuing this. I am Aditya, as everyone knows, and I am with Dr. Sandeep Krishnan Kanoli here. And this is the continuation of the video, which what we did some few days back with what I did a few days back with Kapil Ji. And due to some malfunction, we were unable to complete the video. So I thought maybe I can record it and go through over it once again, and then answer some of the comments, some of the questions which people have asked, and also continue and finish the video with Sandeep. So yeah, thanks Sandeep for joining and helping me out in this. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Togi, for inviting me to attend the lecture on Rahu Ketu, and especially for highlighting the astronomical aspects of Rahu Ketu. Yeah, really I enjoyed the video with you had with Kapil Ji on his channel, KRSchannel. So looking forward to see what other ideas you have to share on Rahu and Ketu from the point of view of astronomy.
Thanks, and thanks to Kapil Ji basically to giving a chance to come to his channel.
Yeah, definitely.
So anyway, some slides will be what you have already seen, but I think doesn't hurt to go over once again.
Right.
So this I was telling about electromagnetic spectrum, and we have different rays coming from gamma rays to X-rays, then ultraviolet. Then we have the optical, which is the VIBGYOR, which is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. Then we have infrared, then we have millimeter, and then we have radio waves. Okay, and this is the direction of the increasing energy. So probably what waves which we could see, which we could sense, is only this part, the VIBGYOR. I think you can see my cursor, correct?
Right.
So these are the rays, gamma, X-rays, and UV is what we cannot see. It's the low wavelength, and we cannot see. Our eyes are not sensitive to see these electron rays of light. Similarly, on the other end of the red, we have infrared, we have millimeter, we have radio waves. It's the high wavelength, and again, our eyes are not sensitive to see these types like infrared, millimeter, and radio waves.
Right.
And remember, gamma rays, X-rays, UV are high energy rays. So these rays come under the Rahu category.
Right.
All the UV, X-rays, and gamma rays. Similarly, VIBGYOR, each has got a color. This is what I was saying about how we can use rainbow to understand this so many aspects.
Right.
So I will talk about, as I must have shown last time, that each color is representative of each planet. And then we have infrared, millimeter, and radio, which is nothing but Ketu.
Right.
Ketu is so it's one end is Ketu, the other end is Rahu, and all other planets are in between this in optical wavelength.
Right.
Remember, Ketu is like much less, or it's an inward. Rahu is outward. So that's why for high energy we give Rahu, and for low energy we give Ketu, and all other planets what we use, the 7 planets. 7 planets. So it's like, this is like Rahu, the 7 planets, and then the Ketu.
Right.
So it's 1 plus 7 plus 1, which is 9.
So is it, so Rahu amplifies, so X-rays are more amplified more than energetically more amplified?
Energetic. Yes, it's more energetic.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. Okay.
So this is what white light is made up of. We have learned in our school physics, like how white light, if you pass a light from sunlight to a prism, it disperses into 7 colors, and which is violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red.
Right.
And then these are the colors and the planets associated with them. Red, as we know, is associated with Sun. Orange is associated with Mars. Yellow is Jupiter. Green is Mercury. This we have no doubt. It's clear, like green, yellow, orange, red is Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, and Sun respectively.
Right.
Okay, now coming to this violet, indigo, blue, I made it as Moon, Saturn, and Venus. Here initially I struggled, but you will see that if we put this, how well we can explain our concepts further. And moreover, the next slide I will show how does this scheme fits in. For example, this. as I told, UV, X-rays and all are like Rahu. So that's why I put everything in UV with Rahu.
Right.
Infrared and higher waves with Ketu. And then violet with moon. Indigo is like deep blue. So that I put as Saturn. Blue as Venus. And as before, green and Mercury, yellow Jupiter, orange Mars, red Sun.
Right.
If you see, if this is basically the evolution of soul, like UV or the Rahu is nothing but a very subtle form of desires, subtle form of thoughts, vasanas. So that's what I talk called as Rahu. Then if you have a subtle form of thoughts, the thoughts becomes more dense and it becomes more powerful and it becomes a strong desire. And where the desire comes, it comes in the mind.
Right.
And moon, is a representation for mind. So violet I put as moon. Then once the desire comes, in Vedanta philosophy, it's always like vasanas, thoughts, desires, and action.
Right.
So first vasanas and thoughts, which is Rahu. Then comes desires, which comes in mind, which is moon. And after desires, what you do? You act for basically to complete that desire.
Right.
That is Saturn, acting, karma, doing karma. Then after acting, what you get? You enjoy the fruits of your action. So
Right.
that is Venus. So that's a chronology of that.
Right.
And in that enjoying the fruits, sometimes you realize that the life is not just this. Your intellect starts getting activated, I feel.
Right.
See, I always feel that the spiritual thought will only come for people who are self-satisfied with their basic needs. Suppose you have poor and you don't have enough food to eat, and if I give a lecture on saying about God, thought and religion, you won't be able to think. So it's like first your basic needs are satisfied, then you go to the higher level.
Right.
So it's like once you enjoy all the fruits, then you start thinking about what is the next higher level. That is Mercury, that is thought.
Right.
When you think about it, then it comes the role of Jupiter, where you start gathering or learning spirituality and all. That is Jupiter, learning, spiritualism and all. Then you take efforts to understand. You put efforts, you make it into a daily practice. That is Mars. And finally, the Sun, which is Atma Karaka. You're trying to understand the Atma. You're trying to reach the soul level. That is Atma.
Right.
And when you do that, you attain moksha. Moksha, we know, and comes under the Ketu.
Right.
So this shows. That's why I call this as soul evolution. It's like how from the vasanas, a subtle form of desire, how we reach moksha.
Right.
So that's the pattern.
And it's very interesting, the sequence. It's not the normal sequence you would associate, I think, but the colors, especially, I mean, blue with Saturn, I've seen that. Violet with moon is a new thing, but
correct.
Yeah, and then but even sometimes people say red with Mars and orange with Sun. But I think the point is that here, if you use the sequence, then it is very helpful in determining the Rahu Kal and all of that. This particular sequence, for some reason, it works in a very functional pattern way.
Exactly. If we have this pattern, then I was able to explain all, which we will see how to explain Yamagandam, Rahu Kalam, and Gulika.
Okay.
So there is some association with this scheme. And even if you see in Kerala, they have a Prashnam and all, like the color. I have seen some text referring to these sequence. I don't know how come, but this is what exactly the sequence. I was looking into it. I don't remember the exact text and all where it is. But this sequence I have seen. I don't know from where it comes. I think it comes from the rainbow color. Who knows?
Right.
But we have to watch nature and probably look into that.
Yeah.
So some people were asking about why this category, why you put the moon as violet, exactly what you asked.
Right.
And there were also some questions on whether this color is related to some chakra systems,
Right. Yeah, because that is the common thing. You associate some chakras with, like for instance, you associate the root chakra with Saturn. So like, and then you associate, the next chakra, higher level chakra with Jupiter. So suddenly when you think in terms of chakra and when you think in terms of this, suddenly it's like all mismatch. But I think
mismatch, I agree with you.
Yeah, but I think it makes sense that we are comparing different things. It's like we are comparing apples to oranges. So like chakras actually exist within the human bodies. So, but whereas you are trying to do it on a more rainbow scheme, like on a weather scale, like time scale of what the planet is going through. So maybe it might, at a different level, it might be a different sequence as well.
Correct. True. Yeah. So I don't know about chakra and whether it will work, but it is some difference with chakra system.
Right.
But with this scheme, with this rainbow scheme, and with this soul evolution pattern,
Right.
we could explain those. So this is something, and definitely I've seen in some Kerala texts and all
Right.
about this. So there may be some reason which I don't know. In fact, later I came to know after doing it. I made this a video maybe of 6-7 months back.
Right.
When I was studying this. So it was later I came to know that people use the same technique. And you
Interesting.
see, this is also a combination of your like Jupiter, Mars, and they are all friends.
Yeah, that was
So they
another
are,
thing. Right.
yeah.
All the friends
And
on one side and the other friends on other side.
correct. Like Saturn, Venus are friends. Of course, now Moon has got no enmity with. I think Moon has got no enemy.
Right.
And what about the Saturn and Moon? So it's not like that real friendship. But if you say the Moon, the thoughts, and Saturn is nothing but the karma or the action you do, then thoughts and action basically. Then you can say there's some relation with Moon and Saturn. But of course, Saturn and Venus are friends, and this is one. So it's like all this Jupiter, Mars, Sun on one side. Mercury is like neutral, and then this comes under another one side. So it's like this is like Samudra Manthan. It's like
Right.
the churning of ocean. It's like from Rahu to Venus is like demons, and then you have like Mercury is related to Vishnu, and Vishnu tortoise avatar,
Right.
Kumbha avatar,
Right.
like standing in between, and then we have all devas here.
Right.
I don't know. I just comparing.
Right. All the dharmic planets and on one side and all the rest of the
Correct.
planets on the other side. So very interesting.
And I will say that these are my thoughts, so I don't know what is wrong, right? But I will just say to viewers that okay, this is what things work in this way, and all other explanation of Rahu Kalam can be given with this sequence, and that's why I follow this. And that at the end, I will again come to this and see how. If you change this, then what happens?
No, what is actually interesting here is that if you look at the signs ruled by the planets, like for instance, Mercury, Venus, and Saturn, it's all
Correct.
ruling air sign and earth sign, all three of them. And then Jupiter, Mars, Sun are ruling, Jupiter, Mars definitely ruling fire signs and water signs. So, and even Sun is ruling fire sign, and Ketu is a ruler of like water sign, co-lord of Scorpio. So even if you look at that way, also it's also interesting just to see this particular arrangement of planets.
So air and earth, correct? They are materialistic. Earth is materialistic.
Exactly.
So this is all materialistic. Yeah, exactly. Oh, that's a good point you have brought,
Right.
Sandeep.
Right.
And Jupiter and Mars are fire. It's like
Dharmic.
getting spiritually evolving. Dharmic, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah, because true, Rahu is co-lord of Aquarius. Moon is a lot of, I think, the water, but it's a watery sign here.
Right.
And then Saturn is again Libra.
Right.
Libra and
Aquarius.
it exacts Libra, but
Aquarius and Capricorn. Right.
It is Earth and air sign.
Right.
Venus is again Taurus and Libra. Taurus is an Earth sign. Libra is a Aries sign.
Right.
So yeah, mostly it's Aries and Earth sign. While after Jupiter, Mars, and Sun are fire.
Right.
And it's basically fire and water sign. Yeah.
Right. Great. Yeah.
Great. Nice. Thanks, Sandeep.
Yeah. Sure.
And this we already explained, right? How Rahu is connected with UV, X-ray, and high energetic, and Ketu with infrared.
Right.
This also I've shown you about that. This is like a Barnard 68 cloud, and this is, I think last time I explained, but how in infrared this is like 0.44 micron, which is like a blue light. You cannot see stars here in between. You feel there's like stars everywhere, and this is like a patch of cloud in front of you.
Right.
So you cannot. It's blocking the view.
Right.
So that's why you see like a hole in the sky. But as you go from 0.44 micron, which is blue, to 0.55 micron, which is green light,
right,
you can see some stars here, but not much.
Right.
Then you go to like a much higher wavelength, and then you come down here, which is 1.25, and 1.25 you can see some stars here. 1.25 micron. Remember, it's an infrared region.
So now the micrometer is the wavelength of the rays, which is we are going towards Ketu. Right?
Yeah, we are going towards the Ketu. That's why we are going towards the redder and redder. And you see 2.16 micron, you feel there is no hole in the sky.
Right.
So that means infrared light is coming to you.
Oh, okay. Right.
Do you know why, for the stopping the signal, why do we have red color?
Why? Because it's easier. It travels farther, right?
travel because the if you compare red, green, and
Yellow.
yellow, basically the red light has got the longest wavelength and the extinction is less. So if you can see the red light from far away
Right.
and make appropriate breaks and all, so that you have enough time for basically applying brakes and everything, and then you're not going to meet with an accident.
Right.
What happens, especially that effect won't be there much. It's during a foggy day. What happened? There's a lot of
Fog.
attenuation between, because it's all fog and all.
Right.
If I send the yellow light and the red light has got the maximum minimum attenuation and the
Right.
maximum probability to reach you. That's why we have given a stopping signal, which is a danger, which you have to see as
Right.
the red part of the spectrum.
Right. Right.
So it's not because we like red, that's why we gave the to stop
Exactly.
signal as
Right. So it's like the red lights are like the light which you use to analyze these clouds. So like
exactly. It's deeper red. It's so deep that you cannot even see. It's like infrared.
it's very interesting.
Correct. Remember, and of course, as you go redder and redder, I told the energy is lower and lower.
Right.
Now remember, when we do this, you have TV remotes in your home.
Right.
You basically put a thick metal in front of the remote and try to stop on your TV. Your TV won't be getting on because it has got not much of energy.
Right. 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 Right.
Or like what I used to do is I used to keep a book, like a thick book, in front of a remote as a child, and I will see like whether it is going and my TV is getting on or not. It won't.
Right. Right. Right.
So that is because it is using millimeter, it is using some radio waves or something much lesser energy.
Right.
Now, suppose if I was doing with an X-ray would have really pierced into. X-ray could have pierced my flesh and all. Of course, it doesn't pierce bones, but it pierces flesh and all.
Right.
So X-ray has got that much intensity to go around to pierce all your flesh, skin, and fat and all.
Right.
So X-rays are much more energy. So that comes under Rahu, and infrared comes under Ketu.
Right.
And remember, Ketu can reach you. The attenuation of Ketu is less. So it looks like the infrared can come and pierce the dust. Similarly, Ketu is what? Piercing the, when I compare, Ketu gives moksha, it clears all your doubts, clears all your materialistic dirt or materialistic dust.
Right. Basically, Ketu will show you. We are able to see all the dirt in the first place, so that you can clear it off again. If you're not even seeing, then it's like, how can you clear it off? But
exactly,
that's very interesting. Interesting analogy there.
True. And this also I told about how high mountain tops are, like telescopes are kept on high mountain tops because high mountain tops have got low water vapor, low air column, so less water, so less absorption of infrared.
Right.
And what is Ketu? Ketu is infrared, basically.
Right.
And you see, Ketu has got something, because Ketu is infrared. Infrared is absorbed by water vapor. So there is some relationship between Ketu and water vapor.
Right.
And you see the Ketu exiles in Scorpio, Ketu exiles in Pisces. It's all watery sign. And Ketu is what? Again, Cancer is again a watery sign, but it's got Ashlesha Nakshatra, which is again ruled by Naga. So there may be some relationship with Ketu there.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah. And then I was talking about galactic center, which is like when you take a X-ray image, what happens is like of a galaxy, there are a lot of X-rays and high energy rays coming from the center of galaxy.
Right.
It is like, because there's a supermassive black hole and there's an accretion. Accretion is dust and gas come and get sucked into the black hole. And when that happens, it gives out X-rays and UV rays. Right. And what is the galactic center? It's like the Mula energy, as we said. The Mula energy is towards the galactic center, and Mula is ruled by Ketu. And of course, X-rays are nothing but Rahu. So you see the combination of how Rahu coexists with Ketu.
Exactly.
You cannot even separate Rahu and Ketu. It was the same part by Swarbhanu. It was Vishnu's disc which chopped off the head of the Swarbhanu, and then you have Rahu and Ketu.
Right.
So to understand, so this Rahu and Ketu coexist. To understand Rahu, you need to know Ketu. To understand Ketu, you need to know Rahu.
Right. Yeah, it's very interesting. So like even at the galactic center where there's a black hole, you can't study it without using Ketu. I mean, you're using Ketu to study it, but even in spite of that, what you're finding is that you're finding Rahu coming out or X-rays coming out of it.
Correct.
So basically, you can't separate anything.
Anything. You have to study in combination of both.
Yeah, I was thinking like how you can think of Mula deity as Niruti, Like Kali, Kali is exactly what's happening in the, the foundational Shakti goddess, like will pull you down to the roots and stuff like that. So how worshipping Kali is great for Mula natives, and even Rahu, great remedy for Rahu as well. So yeah, it's very interesting. Think of Kali as in terms of black hole. So like
Exactly.
that makes sense. Very interesting.
And of course, now this I have not put up like an image because of the copyright issues. Whenever you see a black hole, you will see what it's like a disk
Right.
sucking in. We have a disk. So I said that Rahu and Ketu coexist, and the disk is like Sudarshan chakra. I feel like
Right.
Sudarshan chakra is a disk. So you can see Rahu and Ketu basically like inside a disk structure.
Right.
And the disk is Sudarshan chakra. So the association of Rahu Ketu, first of all, in the last slide we saw how Rahu and Ketu coexist, and how it is because most of the supermassive black hole at the galactic center is
Right.
surrounded by a dust like a torus, donut shape,
Right.
like a donut shaped dust ring of
Right.
gas and dust.
Right.
It's forming a disk structure. It is called as the circumnuclear disk.
Right. Right.
And it's a disk. It remembers me our Sudarshan disk chakra,
Right. So
Vishnu's
like,
disk.
yeah, the Milky Way is also like a disk, right? So it's like you have the center black hole and then it's coming out. So like
Exactly.
like a chakra fashion. It's very interesting.
Chakra pattern. It's like a
Right.
chakra pattern. So I can see the Sudarshan chakra type, and Sudarshan chakra was the reason for creating
Exactly.
Rahu and Ketu from Saurabhanu.
Right. So Rahu Ketu is actually pointing to the galactic plane, or the galactic wheel, that disk that is formed in the galaxy. So basically, Rahu Ketu are reference to the galaxies essentially.
Exactly.
It's very interesting. Yeah, and also we have the Rahu, we have the galactic plane passing exactly over Ardra and Mula as well, right? So that also makes sense because we have the entire Milky Way galactic plane. You can see the Milky Way along the
Yeah, because what
Ardra.
is Rahu Ketu? Rahu Ketu is nothing but the plane of Sun Earth plane, and the Moon Earth plane is basically cutting the 2 points.
Right.
Now the Sun Earth plane, the Sun, it's so yeah. I know there's a slight, there may be a slight confusion because see Rahu Ketu are nothing but the intersection of Sun Earth plane with the Moon Earth plane.
Right.
Now the Sun plane forms a slightly different angle with the galactic plane.
Right.
It forms a different angle. Actually there are two coordinate systems which we use in astronomy. One is the equatorial and one is like galactic latitude and longitude. So
Right.
so there is some angle there. Of course, we are remember the definition of Rahu Ketu is basically the intersection points of Sun Earth plane and the Moon Earth plane. But here
Right.
we are talking about the I'm putting in terms of galaxy disk, and also don't confuse with this.
Right.
For an example, I'm putting this like the association of Sudarshan chakra with Rahu and Ketu and the
Right.
galactic.
Yeah, but no one really thinks of the galactic plane as being the Sudarshan chakra. That's very
Yeah,
interesting.
no one knows. Also, it's only for astronomers. When we work
Yeah.
for extra galactic purposes, we do that.
Right.
I think no one else. It's totally, and you can convert from one system to another. It used to be like when you take basic course of astronomy, convert this system into that. That used to be always like a famous question of professors for us.
Right.
Okay, then I was talking about directions and planets, like how is it? But I showed two charts here. But this chart towards my left here, this one is basically used for Vastu, but I won't talk much about it. And I will be talking more about these type here. Like as how we know Mercury is the northern, Moon is the northwest, Saturn is the west, Rahu southwest, Mars south, Venus southeast, Sun is the east, and Jupiter as the northeast.
Oh, so
And remember,
for Vastu, I didn't know Venus was east. I think it's the same chart for Vastu also, right?
there is slightly difference. There is slight difference because these structures are basically what you will see in Navagraha. Sun will be at the center, and then you will see Navagrahas here.
Right.
But that is slight different with the direction of planets and the direction and the planets.
Okay.
In astrology, this is for Navagraha and all they will keep. Like Sun, Navagraha, Sun is at the center. So you see Sun at the center.
Oh, okay. So you mean the Navagraha, like in the ideal Navagraha placement, this is how it's
Correct.
like.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Right.
But I will be mostly talking about this chart in the
planetary directions. Okay.
Planetary directions.
Right.
So if I compare India, we know with the Northeast, we have Ganga River, we have spirituality and all, which is Northeast is ruled by Jupiter. So you can see the association of Jupiter qualities in Ganga River and spirituality.
Right.
In the north part, which is the Punjab, Haryana, and parts of Uttar Pradesh, it's a fertile field, it's a fertile land of 5 rivers. Is called what Punjab is called as. It's where the Green Revolution has got, the famous during 1960 by MS Swaminathan and all, the Green Revolution.
Right.
Northwest, we also had Sindhu River, and also the White Revolution. The White Revolution, the milk. Who was there? Varikurian, I think in 1970s. He was a famous, very active in milk production and all.
Right.
So again, because milk, Northwest is ruled by moon. Moon color is white.
Right.
So White Revolution. And then when you come to West, which I told is ruled by Saturn, it's Shani temple, Shani Shingnapur in Maharashtra. We have the Saturn temple.
Right.
Then you come to Southwest, which is nothing but ruled by Rahu. We have Bangalore, where the space research and IT.
Right.
Technology Rahu. Also we have Kerala, where Nagas are all.
Right. A lot of Naga temples here, right? Rahu. Right.
Then you come south is Mars. And what was south? We have dry, arid, hot, like Andhra food, I think one of the spiciest food I feel.
Right, south, yeah, right.
South. Then you come to southeast, we have Telugu language, which is the musical language, and a lot of Tyagaraja musics and all. It's all written in Telugu. So and of course Tollywood. How we can forget Tollywood? And southeast because Venus association. Venus is movies. Venus is film. And of course now we know that Mumbai is also famous for west part and western part of India. Why don't we have Bollywood there? So as I told before, Saturn, Venus were together in that color scheme.
Right.
So Saturn, the moon, Saturn and Venus were together. So it's like, again, you can see some association of...
But, even one other thing is that I was thinking like Saturn is exalted in Libra. So if Saturn's direction, you should also see its exalted effects. So one thing which Kapilji mentioned was that what about Mumbai and stuff? So like I was thinking, Saturn is exalted in Swati, so you will find more entrepreneurs there. Even Swati is in Libra. True. Like,
good point.
Artists and stuff like that. So it's not like, obviously we have to think in terms of energies and stuff. Then it kind of helps us. So like, but yeah, interesting. Southeast, Venus, a lot of arts. Yeah, all the Carnatic music and all of that,
Music. And Southeast also, we have a lot of cyclones, hurricanes and all. So, and now this is totally different topic, which I won't talk, but maybe some other day, I can associate cyclone. Okay, this you can take an homework. Like you see the cyclone date and time and see the position of Venus.
All right.
And do your study and you will come to know. Maybe I will some other day because it's a topic for other day.
Right.
You can see the association of hurricanes and all and see the position of Venus, how it is.
Right.
Whether it is affliction from other planets, whether it is situated in some 6th, 8th, 12th house, something will be there, which I did this for some few cases. And definitely there is something association with Venus, with hurricanes. And we know in southeastern part, we have hurricanes and all. In Andhra and Orissa border, we always have got hurricanes, cyclones and all.
Right.
Come to the east, ruled by sun. We have the sun temple, the famous Konark temple in Orissa, the eastern part. And of course, we have Bengal, Bihar, Bodh Gaya and all, which is like Buddhism was preached by Lord Buddha there.
Right.
Now, of course, Bengal, Ramakrishna Paramahansa, Swami Vivekananda, all the spirituality coming there because it's sun, it's Karaka.
Right. Yeah. It's really interesting to see how the direction and planets are playing out.
Yeah. So, now you can do even for US. This is what I did for US.
Right.
Now let's do that for US. You have Northeastern. I was thinking about what is there in Northeast. So I came across this Declaration of Independence, 4th July 1776, which happened at Philadelphia. Now these directions and all, it can be somewhere like it's not exactly Northeast, but sometimes it can be Northeast means Northeast and Eastern part. So there is a mixed match of something. It's not like
right.
Because I'm making into exactly 8 parts. It can be either when I say Northeast, I don't know if you can say Philadelphia as Northeast or you can say even East. So you don't know exactly.
Right.
Then I said North is what? North is for Mercury.
Right.
Now Mercury is East. So I just took the forest area by percentage covered at different states of in US.
Right.
And I found these states like this is Maine and New Hampshire, West
Right.
Virginia, Vermont. These are like these states have got the highest forest cover.
Right.
So, and these are all where exactly in the northern part.
Right.
It's not northeastern. As I said, it's northeastern, because now US is very difficult topography. Like you see in Dakota and all, it is much north, and then you come to
Right.
Ohio
Right.
and
It's more north. Right.
what is the Pennsylvania,
Right.
and then it goes a little bit. It dips down of this where we have the five lakes, the Great Lakes.
Right.
And then again, it increases. So there's some pattern, but all these states are basically in the northern part.
Right.
Northwest is ruled by moon. Now here I see a very important thing. Like in India, I said northwest is Sindhu River, like Indus River.
Right.
We also had a river, Saraswati River.
Right.
And it said that there was a great earthquake, something happened, and because of that, the Saraswati River.
You mentioned Ketu as being northwest direction along with the moon. So like you can see that ancient history and things like that.
Ancient history and all, exactly.
Yeah. So right. Yeah.
And also we have the earthquake part. Something is related to earthquake, Pacific Ring of Fire and all. You see, going from the northwest region and all.
Okay.
Northwest and west. And the west.
That's in the northwest region, right? Pacific Ring of Fire.
What is?
The Pacific Ring of Fire is in the northwest region.
It's the northwest and the western. It's the entire coast, west coast of US.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah. So west, we have Nevada and Idaho, which are desert conditions, dry and barren, which is like Saturn.
All right. Yeah.
Then we have southwest, we have Arizona. There are many observatories,
Right.
Astronomy, space research, all Rahu.
Right.
Then south is, as I told you, ruled by Mars. What is there in south? Texas. Dry, arid and hot, same like as before in India.
Right.
Then we have southeast, again ruled by Venus. And we have states such as South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, and all those things, which is hurricanes. Again, here also we have a lot of cyclones and hurricanes like Katrina and all.
All right.
And the eastern part is Washington, D.C. It's the government, sun.
Right.
So you can see even in US how this plays.
Also, like west desert conditions, Hollywood is there in west. Same thing, just like in Mumbai. In
Hollywood
west you have California and stuff.
Same like Mumbai, yeah.
Yeah, almost like southwest west direction. You could say that. Very interesting to see
southwest
that.
Southwest is again Rahu, so.
Right. Definitely. Very interesting. Fascinating stuff. So yeah, one thing here is that just with the direction part, one thing I've seen for sure is that even if you were to use this within your own room, like look at north direction, east direction, things like that, then you will begin to see planetary associations happening more and more. For instance, you look in more and more, you can look in your southwest direction of your room. You can see that Rahu kind of things are being accumulated in southwest direction. Something.
Okay.
Yeah, that can over time you will begin to see little things like that. It will be little, very small thing, but it will happen naturally on its own. So many of the remedies that are recommended is also based on this direction as well for many planets. So like for Saturn, they say in like west you put salt and stuff like that. There is many remedies you can do. But yeah, very this is a great thing to see it working at the country level. Like yeah.
So I don't. You have to go for each country and run because it was difficult because I don't know much of US history. So it was like Declaration of Independence. India we know because we have so many years we stayed. So I know how it was. But really, if you now talk about say Germany, probably Germany as again I know Germany again in the southern part we have Munich and all. We have a lot of observatories.
Right.
And it's the whole world.
Right, exactly. Yeah, see, that's one more point because so for instance they say you have to spiritually orient yourself. The word orient is actually coming from the east. From east.
Oriental East.
Oriental world. So this is one thing I saw in one Simon Chokosky video. Is like the Ayurvedic teacher. So he's like he said that like you're orienting yourself. Whenever you're orienting yourself, you are aligning yourself with the sun's energy, with the spiritual energy or the east direction.
Correct.
So again, you can see how that is playing out.
And I know southwest definitely we have Chile. Chile region.
Right,
Chile,
right,
we have a lot of telescope, very beautiful skies, and we have many observatories.
right,
And Chile is southwest if you consider the whole map.
right.
So
Yeah,
southwest is again Rahu. Rahu is again observatory, space research, and all those things.
right, right. Even West is like more materialistic. Like US is more materialistic.
US,
Even
Hollywood,
Hollywood.
Hollywood,
Yeah,
Hollywood.
exactly. And even in India, India is like coming towards east and almost coming towards
And
southeast.
southeast, what we have? We have oceans. Southeast.
Yeah, exactly. Oceans. Yeah, I mean,
So
southeast is the there is Bali, Indonesia. It's like one of the biggest.
hurricanes, all tsunamis. This.
Yeah, exactly. So things like that. It's very interesting. Yeah, one association or the other should pop up. That's for sure. It's very interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting study.
So I'm thinking, what is there in northeast? Northeast, we can say Russia, correct?
Yeah,
We can say,
Russia. Northeast is what? Jupiter, right? Russia. So
correct,
probably
Russia.
it's very expanded, something like that.
Northeast, Jupiter. Jupiter is expansion, correct? Yeah,
Right.
it's the expansion.
Yeah.
Then we have what? North. North is difficult. I don't know what to put in north.
Yeah, North is like it becomes like Europe and stuff, right? Very business oriented,
Correct.
communication oriented, stuff like that.
Communication.
Obviously, yeah, this is like a very gross simplification, but then you see some themes play out. That's the bigger theme. So like the energy should be more prominent.
Correct. Anyway, so interesting. I didn't think about the whole world. I think I should have made for the whole world also. But
right. Yeah, definitely.
And I think they associate with their countries and try to see, maybe post
this is a common thing I see commonly with the whole world for sure. Like from any planetary dasha is activated, then that particular direction that native will be pulled towards. Very common.
Right. Yes.
Like many times with Venus association, they will go directly towards Australia or like Indonesia, things like that. And then West is activated, then they go towards America and stuff like that. And North, they go towards Europe or something like that. These directions definitely work. There's no doubt about that. So it's very interesting how to look at the direction from an energetic, like what energies are more activated for countries level, So that is very interesting. Like Southeast I've seen many times. Like one native from Kerala, his Rahu got activated. So southwest direction got activated. So he does business with with Africa, which is southwest of Kerala. So so things like that, so definitely the directions for work for sure.
Okay, great. Okay, let's go to now here is what I was thinking to talk about this. So the main thing was basically we have this Rahu Kal, Yamagandam and Gulika, and how to explain using the colors of the rainbow. Okay, right. So what we do first is leave the Ketu out of these 9 planets. Leave the Ketu because it's Mokshakara. So right. We are left with only 9 minus 1, which is 8 planets. Right. And we will assume the calculations to start with. We assume that the day starts from 6 a.m. The sunrise happens from 6 a.m. and it sets at 6 p.m. So the day is 12 hours. Right. Sunrise to sunrise is 12 hours and sunset to sunrise is also 12 hours. So we will take 12 hours and we have 8 planets, right. Which is 8 planets. So 8 divisions. So 12 hours per 8 division is each planet gets 1.5 hour. 12 divided by 8 is 1.5 hour. Right. So we start with that. And so if you think that the sun rise happens at 6, so 1.5 hour means we will divide the day into 8 parts. So the first part is 6 to 7:30, 7:30 to 9, 9 to 10:30, so and so forth. Right. Okay, and last part is 4:30 to 8. Right. I will just do this. I know I skipped one slide, but I'll come to it later. So so how to calculate the Rahu Kal? Right. So what you do? Take the first day of the week. It's a Sunday. Right. Okay. So just put the time, 8 divisions. So we'll just put the time 6 to 7:30 here, 7:30 to 9, right. 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12, 12 to 1:30, 1:30 to 3, and then 3 to 4:30. And then 4:30 to 6. Right. So we just put that time slot. Right. Here starting from, because this is the eastern direction, correct? So I put here, the sunrise happens in the east. So I put 6 to 7:30 and I follow the clockwise direction.
And this is the order which you showed before, right? In the first slide, like the
Uh,
color scheme order.
no, I've not yet come to the planets.
Okay. Right.
I'm just putting the time now. 6 to
Oh,
7:30.
right. Only the time.
9 to 10:30. Yeah, only the time. I
Right.
always start 6 to 7:30 early morning from here, from the eastern direction. Now we have to put. Now we know the planetary schemes. It starts from Rahu, and it goes to the Rahu, Moon, Saturn, Venus. That whatever I told the color scheme.
Right.
So Rahu, Moon, Saturn, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Mars, and Sun is a scheme.
Right.
Since it's a Sunday,
Right.
the first hora, or the first, not hora, I should say, the first part is occupied by the planet of the day.
Right.
So the sun.
Right.
So you put sun here. Okay. And then once you put the sun, it's like if you make the circle, you can just continue saying this Rahu, Moon, Saturn, like
Right.
it's, if you get the entire column into a circle starting with Rahu, ending with sun. So it should
Right.
end with sun. So always go in this.
Right.
Put the planets go in the anti-clockwise.
Right.
Or you can say you start with sun and go like this.
Right.
Sun, Mars to Jupiter to Mercury to Venus to Saturn to Moon and Rahu.
Right.
So first thing is occupied by sun. That's all we should know.
Right.
It's always in that way. The pattern has to be from, say the pattern has to be always from sun to Rahu.
Right.
Okay. So put sun and then follow the clockwise and then you come to Rahu, all eight divisions.
Right.
Now see what timing Rahu occupies. It's 4:30 to 6.
Right.
So that is the Rahu column for Sunday.
Okay.
Very simple. Now we'll do for another day. Let's say moon.
Right.
Monday we know it's moon.
Right.
The Lord is moon, correct?
Right.
So this is Lord of the day is moon. So again, put the timing slot first. 6 to 7:30, 7:30 to 9, 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12, 12 to 1:30, 1:30 to 3, of course 3 to 4:30 and 4:30 to 6.
Right.
Since it's a Monday, the Lord of the day is moon.
Right.
So the first division will be occupied by the moon.
Right.
And as the pattern goes, as I said, correct?
Right.
The pattern goes basically always from the sun basically to the sun to Rahu, and then again. So it's always like this. Sun. So you start from moon, then you get Rahu, then it's like sun, Mars, Jupiter, Mercury, Venus, Saturn.
Right.
So you should make always such a way that this 6 to 7:30, the slot should always be occupied with the Lord of the day.
Right. Right.
Okay. And so you have to make accordingly such that the Lord of the day falls here. Now say if it's a Tuesday,
right,
what you will do?
Right. Tuesday
Now
will just change the Mars. You make the first Lord of the day.
Mars is the first. Okay.
Right.
So for Monday, where the Rahu column will be? Rahu column is basically because Rahu is 7:30 to 9. So the Rahu column from 7:30 to 9.
Right.
Now what happens on Tuesday? On Tuesday, Mars, as you said, correct? Mars should be the first thing.
Right.
So if you put Mars here, like you bring this, shift everything, correct? So that the Mars occupies the first slot.
Right.
So where the Rahu will go?
Right.
So it's like shifting 1, shifting 2, shifting. It's like shifting 1, shifting 2, shifting 3, shifting 4, shifting 5. So 5 places you have to shift.
Right.
This Rahu will shift 5 places. So
right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it occupies 3 to 4:30.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Right.
So because Tuesday, Lord of the day is Mars, the first slot is occupied by Mars.
Right.
And the pattern remains the same. So, and the Rahu falls at time of 3 to 4:30.
Right.
So the Rahu column for Tuesday is 3 to 4:30.
Right.
Now, if I ask, what about Wednesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday means the first slot will be occupied by
Mercury. Right.
Mercury. So this will go here. So that means you have to shift everything like with the 2 places in anti-clockwise.
Yeah, directly opposite. So 12 to 1:30 for Mercury.
Yes. It will be 12 to 1:30 for Wednesday. The Rahu column will be 12 to 1:30.
Right.
So you can do for all other days like that.
Right. Very
so
interesting.
yeah.
So it's the same pattern. The same
Wednesday
pattern.
12 to 1:30. Yes.
Right. So when you place the sequence of planets like this,
Yeah.
this particular pattern, then you can see how the Rahu Kal is directly shifting immediately when you use this
Exactly.
particular pattern. It's very interesting.
Exactly.
Right.
But remember, now this we assumed the sunrise was at 6 a.m. and sunset was at 6 p.m. and the day was 12 hours.
Right. Exactly.
Now, but suppose if you go on a northern countries such as
Right.
US or maybe Sweden or all, sometimes you may have a day
Right.
of 18 hours a day in summer season, especially in northern, as you go north latitudes.
Right. Right.
So when you have 18 hours of day or 16 hours of day, for example, let's say 16 hours of day.
Right.
If you have 16 hours of day and if you divide it into 8 divisions, each division will be 2 hours duration.
Right.
So the planet occupying that 2 hours will be different. Like instead of like dividing 1.5 hour sequence, you have to divide 2 hours. So Rahu Kal will change accordingly.
Right.
So the Rahu Kal which they give you, which most of the time it's there in the some web pages and all. Sunday this 4:30. Its assumption is sunrise happens at 6 a.m. and sets at 6 p.m.
Right.
And then it's different for different. So you have to be very cautious about when. So it depends upon your sunrise, sunset timings, and of course the day.
Right. Right. Right.
So that caution you have to do.
Right. 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 Interesting. So are you saying that so between sunrise and sunset it will be equal number of divisions, right? Is
Correct.
that right? Okay.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But if it is instead of 12 hours, suppose if you have 16 hours of day, then each division will be 2 hours.
Right. Right.
And suppose if you are in a Calcutta and
Right.
if you say Bombay,
Right.
timings are different based on, of course, the Rahu Kal will be different because it depends upon your local sunrise and sunset time.
Right. Interesting. But the same pattern will definitely work.
Pattern will work. I have tested pattern will work.
So will the division, so Rahu Kal will, the timing, that depending upon the division, that division length will be corresponding Rahu Kal as well. So the
Correct.
not like
Correct.
Rahu Kal is always 1.5 hours, nothing like that.
No, it can be 2 hours. Sometimes in winter season, probably in year, it can be less than 1.5 hours.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Okay. So that was for Rahu Kal.
Right.
Now we will see. So this is one example where I have shown that 21st December 2016, which is Wednesday, Mumbai sunrise and sunset times were 7 a.m. was sunrise and 6 was the sunset time. So instead of having 12-hour period, we had only 11-hour period.
Right. Right. Right.
So instead of having 1.5 hour, we have each division 1 hour 22.5 minutes.
Right.
And it's a Wednesday. So typically, and if you do the same thing, and if you make this slot division of the 1 hour 22.5, the Rahu Kal is given as 12:37 to like about 2 o'clock.
Right.
So 12:37 to 2 o'clock. And if you would have gone with a standard definition on
Exactly.
Wednesday,
Right.
like on Wednesday, 12 to 1:30 they would give.
Right.
But it's not 12 to 1:30, it's 12:37 to 2 o'clock.
Right.
Or I don't know why I have given. It should be 12. Oh yeah. So instead of 12 to 1:30, it's 12:37 to 2.
Right. 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 Right.
So then it's like about 40 minutes difference or about around that.
Right. So it's very important to be aware about the sunrise times of that day, basically.
Correct.
And then do that division like that.
Yeah. Why we say what's great? Because see, on each web pages and all, you get all this information computer does for you. But I will say you should how to understand. The computer is giving fine, but you should getting a sense of what it is. And the moreover, looking at the rainbow pattern, see how I could get this sequence of this planetary sequence is using the rainbow color.
Right.
So that is something. How by looking, maybe probably in the ancient days, these people would have looked to the rainbow and got this color scheme.
Right. Yeah.
So that's what it is.
Right. Very interesting.
Now we say Gulika or Mandi. That's also called as Gulika calculate time, Gulika timing. Again, the pattern is the same, but now, of course, Gulika is basically for like no work when you start, it doesn't end or it's repeated.
Right.
It's a repetition which happens in Gulika.
Right.
Saturn, because Gulika is related to Saturn.
Right.
It's offspring of Manda or son of Saturn. So for Gulika, what important is to find the position of Saturn, and I will show you how we do for Gulika.
Right.
So Gulika, as I said, which is on Saturn. So the important day, see there in Rahu column we started on Sunday, but now here it's Saturn, we will start on a Saturday.
Okay.
And of course, assumptions are same. We will start with the same assumption of 6 a.m. sunrise, 6 p.m. sunset, 12 hours period. We will do that, and then we will see how it changes and all.
Right.
So again, for Gulika, what you do is the planetary sequence pattern remains the same. Since it's a Saturday, you start with the sequence of, like, the first part will be occupied by Saturn.
Right.
And for this, for Rahu Kal, we saw where the Rahu occupied the position. For Gulika, we'll see where Saturn occupies the position.
Interesting. Because Gulika is Saturn's sun, right?
Saturn's sun. So Saturn is important.
Right.
So on a Saturday, the Gulika is 6 to 7:30.
Right.
That is easy. Now, what happens on, say, Friday?
Okay.
So the first day you start with Saturn, so Saturday.
Right.
Because there in Rahu Kal we started with Sunday, but for Gulika start with a Saturday, and then go behind, like Saturday. The next is Friday.
Right.
Okay. So for Friday, of course, now these are what is the day? Day lord is Venus.
Venus, right.
So the first part is always occupied by Venus.
Right. Right.
Saturn remains the same. See where the Saturn falls.
Right.
The Saturn falls in the time zone of 7:30 to 9.
Right, exactly. Right.
So the Gulika period for Friday is 7:30 to 9.
Right. Interesting.
Okay.
So for Mercury, on
now for Thursday, now not here it's a little bit what you say. There is a slight change. Okay. What you do is for this it was exactly the same.
Right.
Is very, very simple. Basically, it's like once you know the pattern, correct?
Right.
The pattern which I showed. So basically, you have to basically shift each one, like each. For example, Saturday. This is for Friday, and this is for Thursday. So okay, so shift each by one. Like for example, you have Saturn here.
Right.
7:30. For Gulika, just shift by one. Like it's going in the clockwise direction.
Okay.
Again, go by clockwise direction.
Oh, okay. I see. So you don't. So you're reversing the days, like you're going from Saturday, Friday, Thursday, and
Correct.
at the same, and you're just shifting the pattern. But you're looking at Saturn's position this time. That is the
Correct.
difference. Whereas in Rahu, you are looking at the day lord and looking at the position of Rahu. But for Gulika position, you are changing the pattern. You're shifting the pattern by beginning from Saturn's position.
Exactly.
So that difference is there. But the same pattern will still be using.
Yes. The sequence of planet is same.
Right. Interesting. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Okay.
Thursday.
Yeah, because I was getting confused because you said Thursday and suddenly there's Mercury there at 6 a.m. You know?
Yeah, because Saturday we put Saturn here.
Right.
So what happens on a Friday? Saturn will occupy the 7:30 to 9.
Right. Exactly. So luckily for Friday, Venus will work, but from Thursday onwards it will be different planet.
It won't work. Yeah. So for Thursday, what will be happen? For Gulika will be 7:30 to instead of 7:30 to 9. Gulika will be 9 to 10:30.
Exactly. Right.
This is what 9 to 10. What will happen on Wednesday?
Wednesday will be 10:30 to 12.
Exactly, 10:30 to 12.
Right. Interesting. It's very interesting.
And see, that's why 6 to 7:30 on a Saturday, 7:30 to 9 on Friday, 9 to 10:30 Thursday, 10:30 to 12 Wednesday, 12 to 1:30 Tuesday, 1:30 to 3 Monday,
right.
3 to 4:30 Sunday.
Right.
But again, remember, sunrise is at 6 a.m. and at 6 p.m. Day is 12 hours.
Right.
Suppose if the day is 16 hours, then everything is 2 hours duration.
Right.
Gulika time will change accordingly.
Right. Definitely.
Okay, so that's the only. I think Gulika is very simple.
Right.
So this is again the same example I am showing you on 21st December. The same example.
Right.
The normal timing will be, because it's a Wednesday, they will say that the Gulika is from 10:30 to 12.
Right.
It is not so. It is from 11:15 to 12:37.
Right.
You have to be very careful. Just same example. Like you should know
Right.
the sunset time.
Right.
So
Yeah.
far so good.
Yeah, you just have to be aware of the sunrise time, sunset time, make the calculations accordingly.
Exactly.
So that's the thing.
Exactly.
Okay. Right. Sure.
Now finally Yamagandam. Yamagandam is nothing but exactly same like Gulika, but
Right.
Gulika is nothing but for Saturn. But here Yamagandam is Yama. Yama is life taking, correct?
Right.
Jiva. What is Jiva? But so you have to take care of Jiva Karaka. Jiva Karaka we know is Jupiter.
Right.
Instead of Saturn, it's Jupiter.
Right.
Same as Gulika. Everything is same as Gulika, but it's only Jupiter.
Right. Interesting.
Okay. So because Jupiter is what the day ruler is Thursday, correct?
Right.
We started for Yamagandam. We started for Saturday.
Right.
The first thing was Saturday, correct? And then we reversed it. Here it will be Thursday.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
So for Thursday, again, the time divisions are same. Jupiter is here, 6 to 7:30, 7:30 to 9.
Right.
So the first Thursday, 6 to 7:30 will be the timing for Yamagandakal.
Okay. Right.
Then Wednesday, shift 1.
Right.
7:30 to 9 will be the Yamagandakal on Wednesday.
Right.
What will be happen on Tuesday?
So should shift again. So 9 to 10:30, right?
Yes, 9 to 10:30.
Right.
What will happen on Monday? 10:30 to 12.
Right.
So this is the thing.
Interesting.
Start with Thursday, 6 to 7:30,
Right.
7:30 to 9, 9 to 10:30, 10:30 to 12, 12 to 1:30, 1:30 to 3, 3 to 4:30 Friday, and again you come back to Thursday. It's same as Gulika, but the planet Yamagandam is taking out the light, so you have to take care of Jupiter here.
Right. Yeah.
And of course, the day is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. and again things will change.
Right. Interesting. So is this eight divisions, and then very interesting how that Vibjor pattern with Rahu.
See, the main what was common in all of them was the sequence of these planetary positions.
Right.
If I could have changed into some, say, Venus into something like instead of Moon, Saturn, and Venus, if I could have done like Venus, Saturn, Moon, then this won't work.
Right.
So that's why I feel that the pattern which I have shown you, the color scheme with the pattern is very interesting.
Right. Definitely.
And in the whole pattern, if you see, Rahu is always occupying between Moon and Sun.
Exactly.
In any pattern.
Right.
You know, it was Sun and Moon who told Vishnu that he is a demon and it.
Demon, right. Exactly. Yeah, it's very interesting. You know, even like another thing is that I've told this to you before, and maybe to a couple of others, like how Rahu and Ketu are, the name of Rahu and Ketu is actually Swarbhanu, right? That's the original Asura. So Swarbhanu is like, if you look at Swarbhanu, the word, you have Swar and then you have Banu. So like Swar is like sound, and then Banu is like golden. It's Banu, Banumati, like a gold color. Yeah. So I was thinking like how you can see here also that Swar is like, so Rahu and Ketu are actually Swarbhanu or golden sounds. So now that is a deeper metaphysical meaning there for sure, like sound becoming energy, things like that. At some point, Rahu and Ketu will be literally like golden music or something like that, something like that. But here, if you look at that, if you Swarbhanu, so if you think about Moon as being Swar, because Moon is very creative, all of that, and then Banu as being gold, then you have in the middle of that, you have Rahu, So that's very interesting to see that. Like, there's some connection here also.
Yeah. And you see, it's Rahu is occupying exactly the position between two luminaries. Sun is
Exactly.
also, Moon is also, and Rahu is just occupying it between some Moon and luminaries there.
Right.
That is something. And of course, the pattern, if you see here, you see, it's, I was saying to
Right.
this, I think this Kapilji will make, he was showing that pattern.
Right.
How to say, but this Jupiter, it just clicked me now. Now it
Right.
clicked
Right.
me.
Right. Right.
We were associating nakshatras, but
Right. Right.
anyway,
Right.
let us not
Right.
talk about it. We can
Right.
talk later. You can see how the pairing of nakshatras, but I think Kapilji was, we'll make a video sometimes later.
Oh,
You
does
can
that
see.
pairing fit here also?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Fitting it. But
Very
anyway,
interesting. But what about Ketu? But Ketu nakshatras are missing then, right? Ketu nakshatras will be.
Ketu with this, we can put with moon, no?
Oh, okay. Interesting.
But anyway, I think if we say that, people may get confused. So
Yeah. But one thing I'll say is that with Gulika Kal, I've seen that things just repeat whatever you do in Gulika Kal. Like you go to an astrologer during Gulika time, you end up going to him again because you went with the wrong horoscope or something like that. So
okay,
something
so
like
it's
that.
pattern repetition.
Yeah, repetition. With Gulika Kal, Rahu Kal, Yamagandam Kal, all of that works. I think when
Correct.
you presented this in our original seminar, one of the participants actually raised a great question about how Rahu Kal are a great time to actually do spiritual activities, and that's why they would
That
say,
Rahu. So yeah, I would like to say that why one has to know this. Like, what this is all you can get in all, basically in all the.
apps and stuff, right? Yeah,
So the thing
websites,
is, you knowing the timing, like for Rahu Kal, then you can pray to goddess Durga,
right,
and you can do all those activities related to Rahu, so that know the timings and accordingly act. So I just my thing was to show, don't go in the proper definitions of time,
right,
knowing like how this is how interpretation was done, and to see. And I don't know, it may be there in some textbook also. This I have not come across. I just saw the patterns and related with these timings, and I could come up with this explanation of why timings are given on this specific day.
right,
So that's all. But once you know the timing, okay, you pray to Durga on a Rahu Kal, you can get the results. I don't know, Durga is invoked for, especially for Rahus,
right,
to compound Rahu. So it makes sense in that way. So
right.
yeah, so this is what I want like to show. I was interested to show that how this pattern of color or the rainbow scheme fits into all this.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
think
Yeah,
that
that's a
was
great. The presentation was great because I haven't come across such how you can use rainbow colors to derive Yamaganda Kal and Rahu Kal. But it's very interesting. Makes you think in different ways also. So like how the rishis were talking about. Even simple things like Rahu Kal and Gulika Kal, which we like take for granted these days, is having some other deeper things playing out. So
true.
yeah, definitely great presentation, Dr. Togi.
Thanks, Dr. Sandeep. Thank you very much.
Right,
Thanks, Kapilji, for giving us a chance to do this.
sure.
I think and yeah, I will like to say to our viewers, please comment and see what do they think. And I think,
Right,
and yeah, it will be nice if they could we could also learn from them. It's like
yeah, definitely,
everyone is a teacher here. It's like we also learn,
definitely.
not like exporting all this. It's just like, okay, putting in numbers and trying to see the pattern.
Right, sure.
Okay, I think probably I think we should stop recording. And thanks everyone once again. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sandeep.
yeah. Thanks. Thank you again.